Hello and welcome to A Celtic World, the YouTube channel made by Celtic fans all over the world for Celtic fans all over the world. Where's my little from and to? Here it is, from Parkhead to Pittodrie, Blantyre to Black Dog, wherever you happen to be watching from. You're very much part of A Celtic World. Are those all place names you recognise, Stephen?
I don't know. I was going to ask you where Black Dog is.
You didn't ken where Black Dog is?
No.
Do you know where Black Dog is, Lewis?
No, I don't.
It's just a part of Aberdeen, just up the road, up the beach from Aberdeen. There it is, Black Dog Beach.
All right.
Surprised it's not called Black
The joke's
Dog.
right itself. The joke's right itself. A beach for dog, and Of course there is.
Expand on that.
I think better left unsaid.
Well, a big hello to Stephen in Australia, as usual, but especially to Lewis, who's joining us from Korea. How are things in Korea, Lewis?
Not too bad. It's getting a little bit milder weather-wise. It's been super hot and humid the past few weeks, so it's nice to get a bit of. It's still hot, but it's nice to get a bit of respite for the blaring heat.
Does it get cold in the winter?
Oh, freezing.
Yeah, snow.
Yeah. You can get. Yeah, I think the coldest I've seen is like minus 14 or something. It's like really cold.
Serious?
Yeah.
See, most people want to leave that kind of cold behind, Stephen, don't they, when they leave those frozen isles of Northern Europe?
Yeah, I wish I could say I'd left it behind. It's bloody freezing just now in Sydney.
Is it?
And it's pissing a rain as well. It's horrible.
Oh,
I done the City to Surf race yesterday with my son, the one where it goes from Sydney CBD out to Bondi, and it absolutely pissed down. I've never been as wet in my life, and it's cold, and it's just horrible. So not great at the moment in Sydney.
And did you manage to keep up with Big Declan?
Well, Declan was noticeably slowing down so as we could do it together. So, God love him.
Very good. Well, hello to everyone in the chat. Monty, G. Doc, McLaughlin. 420 was in early. And, 420's given us the... we've got two of these to look at. Both 420 and Monty are telling us who's on screen. It's very nice of them. All right, well, before we get into it, we heard about Stephen's sporting exploits. Lewis, you're obviously a boxer. Most people probably know who are watching. How's your boxing career going? Any bouts of interest recently?
My next fight's in October, 3rd of October. It's in Monterrey, Mexico. So I'll be out in Mexico middle of September for that. Yeah, it'll be good fun.
How come you're off to Mexico to fight?
Just figured it's a good opportunity, be a good laugh, so might as well. So I'm in the tedious part of cutting weight at the minute, so food is miserable.
Yeah. Me too. Not doing very well. But you were taken under the... Yeah, you don't. You were taken under the Mexican wing, weren't you, in Korea? They looked after you and everything.
Yeah.
So is it part of that? Is that why? You and your muchachos?
I've got a lot of people in Mexico that I'm friends with, so I'll be going out there and staying with a friend of mine that lives in Monterrey, and he's helping me set the fight up. So it's all booked in and signed and registered, so I'll be good to go. So yeah, it's good.
Monty reckons he'd beat you, Lewis. He's 53, so once I hit you, I'd need to go for a pee. Okay. Alrighty then. Well, look, let's get on with it. We're obviously mostly going to be talking about the game that we just witnessed against Aberdeen, Pittodrie, and a little bit about, where our heads are at this season and Brendanrodgers and what have you. So, how much did you laugh uncontrollably, Stephen, at this play on words?
Yeah, it was hilarious. I almost needed to seek medical help. I laughed so hard, spat out my falsers, coughed up my lungs, the whole thing. So hilarious, mate.
Being sarcastic?
You're getting better every week.
I get the feeling you're not being 100% genuine, Stephen.
No, I'm always genuine. Gav, you know that.
Well, good night, Swede Hat. The Swede, and Hatate being the two main protagonists and giving us such a good night after that game. We're just talking around the game slightly here, just before we get into the actual nuts and bolts of it. Did you see the tifo, Lewis? The Aberdeen tifo?
I didn't. No.
Did you say it, Stephen?
Was that the Scottish Cup one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what it says below it? There is a light that never goes out. Which is obviously a Smith's lyric.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
One of my favourite songs of all time, in fact, so I was a bit upset that they took that rather than seeing that on a Celtic banner. In fact, my son's been taking...
Isn't it, having a bit of a redneck, that though, isn't it? Having the Scottish Cup banner like that, you know. I mean, fair play to them, they won it, and that's very nice, but you know, we pumped them unceremoniously every other time we played them last year.
They won a trophy,
and
that gives their fans hope. Hope
Yeah.
is the light that never goes out. Why could you be so cruel? Not allow them to enjoy their moment.
No fun.
Are Celtic fans, Gav?
I know, but you know, have a bit of empathy for your fellow
football fans. I don't like anyone
fans.
who's not a Celtic fan.
True.
Dear. There's a light that never goes out. I was going to say, my son is taking drum lessons, or was. He gave up very quickly. But it looked absolutely awesome watching wee kids and learning how to drum. And yeah, I was listening to it and thinking, if I ever take drum lessons, that'll be my objective, is to play the drums to There's a Light That Never Goes Out. It's one of Pete McGee's favourite tracks. It's good, isn't it? Although, interestingly, Morrissey never sings the words, "There is a light that never goes out," during that song. Did you know that? What he does sing is, "There is a light and it never goes out." So listen to it again, Pete McGee. Learn something new every day. Alrighty then. So let's get on with the game. Where did we watch it, Lewis? Were you down the CSC?
I was, yeah. I left before they took the photos. I was, I need to be in bed by about 10, so I was, as soon as final whistle went, I was straight up the road. But yeah, watched it in the pub with the guys, even though I couldn't drink. But good vibe, good atmosphere, good numbers. So yeah, no, it was good.
All right, well, let's get into it, and let's start with one of Stephen's favourite topics, John Beaton. This is kind of the first thing that happened on 7 minutes, really. Can you explain to me in the rule book how come this wasn't given?
No, the rule book that tells you not to give that, we've written down the lodge, I'm afraid. That's, I don't know. You'd need to ask John Beaton that, but I think we know the answer. It's just fortunate it wasn't a goal. But I mean, if it had ended up in the back of the net, it ended up being a really good save from Kasper Schmeichel. But if it had gone in, surely VAR would have ruled it out for that handball. Surely to God, the most blatant handball you're ever likely to see on a football field. His arms completely extended, but as far away from his body as it can be, and there's clear contact. So I don't know what the rest thinking.
And then it turns into, it's obviously their advantage immediately, Lewis, and then they break away.
The only slight benefit of doubt that you could potentially maybe give is that because he's kind of at the far side of where the ball is, but at the same time, the way it changes direction is so obviously a handball, right? Because he is behind the player, but it's fair enough, maybe you don't see exactly when it touches the hand, but you can definitely see the change of direction was influenced directly by the hand on the ball. There's no ambiguity there. And then it's one where surely VAR, they do it with offside a lot, right? Where they'll pull it back for offside without having to go to the VAR screen or the little screen on the side. It's why don't they just call it, a couple of seconds after and say, we need to pull that back for the handball? Because it clearly was. If the ref didn't see it, why hasn't VAR called it to be pulled back?
Yeah, I don't know if we can comfortably say, sure, it would have been called back for a handball. I mean, the referee should be blown for that every day of the week.
That's the thing. He's perfectly positioned, and the question is why didn't he blow for it? It shouldn't even have been involved VAR. It's such a clear and obvious decision to make.
Was a good save. Save though. That's a nice shot there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Good save. Good one-handed save.
Casper at full stretch. 10 minutes. Schmeichel again is alert to the danger to snuff out a breakaway attack. Would we have seen the same from our previous keeper? Would Joe Hart have been off his line like that? Did he ever come up as far on the pitch?
Yeah, I think so. I think Joe Hart played in a very similar way. I'd certainly when we first started getting a look at Ange Ball, the keeper became a focal point of the passing out from the back. So yeah, I think he would have been there. I don't think his passing is anywhere near as good as Schmeichel's though. So who knows where it would end up. But
Schmeichel got there and then passed it really neatly once he got there.
Yeah. I
So
agree
that
with
was
that.
good. Go ahead.
Joe Hart, it's like he's willing to come out, but it's like what he does when he's out. I think Schmeichel's calmness is what really sort of separates him. He's really calm, so he gets the ball, passes it out. He's in control the entire time, so no complaints there.
Yeah, I think I was confusing that point that Jerry makes about him never coming off his line for corners. But then in normal play, he would have been. Well, here's a new name. Look at this, Gavi Boy. It would have been given if they scored, although nothing's sure in this country. I thought VAR would have overturned the dive at Ibrox. Good point. Good comment. And we also had a good comment on the drink along. I did the drink along. I don't know if you saw any of that, either of you, but it was featuring David KL and Dano. So David made a bit of a comeback. And so that was good, the three of us. And we got a comment from Sarah about this moment where she says, "There's Brendanrodgers. Looks like he's just caught wind of a very eggy fart." Which is exactly what that looks like, isn't it? You have to say.
Yeah.
Hang on.
No tie either from Brendan there. I don't know what to make.
I was wondering how long before someone would bring that up. Go on. What does that mean?
Well, I don't know. But they were making a big thing about it in the comment. They were making a big thing about it in the commentary. I don't know. They were calling it maybe. Some people were saying it was maybe a protest against the board because that's obviously they all wear the same suit and tie combo.
My joke was that it was the board's next move of penny pinching, so they're not going to they can't afford the ties anymore. You need to save it for the players.
What were they suggesting? What have people been saying? That's his way of disassociating himself from the board, saying, "Look at me,
exactly.
I'm no suit. I'm a manager. You're the men in grey suits. You should be sorting all this shit out."
Yeah, I think that was probably about it. But look, I don't think there was anything in it at all. I think honestly, he's probably just no bothered his ass putting a tie on for probably no reason at all.
Spilled coffee on it.
Who puts a tie on if they don't have to anyway?
That's true.
No, it was quite a physical battle, wasn't it? Well, that's what Henrik says. He spilled tea on it just before the game. Or else he strung up Nicholson, according to Jerry. Yeah, Aberdeen came out. They were very physical. There was a bit of a battle, wasn't it? The first sort of 20, 25 minutes. They were up for it and they were leaving feet in and things. And I just thought it was worth noting that one man who was up for the battle all day, even though he did a couple of things wrong, was this man, which I can see the veins in Stephen's neck starting to throb. So I'll go to Lewis.
It's not my veins that are throbbing.
For me,
he was very good.
For that one, it's like, I don't know why that was called as a foul for Scales when clearly the Aberdeen players. It was, I think it was. Yeah, as if he dragged them down, but it's like there's nothing in it. He's getting his arms wrapped around by the opposing player. But the frustrating thing for me was that the ref has tools to stop sort of games kind of getting out of control, and I feel like there was moments in the game where it felt like it was starting to spill into just vicious tackles as opposed to, you know, physical but deliberately like strategic tackles that were like meant to win the ball, right? You see players make risks to win the ball, that's fair enough, but there was times where it seemed like it was vicious, like with intent to harm or with intent to cause frustration in our defence. And it's like the fact that the ref didn't call it and use the tools that he has to punish, i.e. there was like no yellow cards I think for the entire first half, when there was multiple yellow card offences that happened in the first half. So to me that was frustrating because it kind of let it get to a point where you're kind of worried, especially when you've got players that are prone to injury like Tierney, and we've got such a lack of, you know, backup when it comes to our wingers. One bad tackle and all of a sudden we're really, really struggling for players in those positions.
Yeah, there was quite a few players would have had a few aches and pains, I would have thought, after that game. AJ as well. He took a couple.
Yeah.
I think one thing, they definitely come out with a game plan to be physical in the opening part of the game and try and knock us off our stride. But I think what it did show was that we're okay with that. We've got a back four there who are quite happy with the physical contest, with Johnson, Carter Vickers, Scales, and Kieran Tierney, both big athletic guys who can handle themselves. So yeah, I think they did try that, but it didn't work. And I think after about 20 minutes, half an hour, they realised that they were going to get no change out of the Celtic back four with that sort of approach. So, you know, Scales was good at that, and that's just Liam Scales, so isn't it? You know, when it's a physical battle, then he's the man. He's the man every step of the way. But when you ask him to get the ball at his feet and do a bit of something creative, then he's the furthest thing from being the man as it's possible to be. But fair play to him. For the physical aspect of defending, he's really good.
Yeah, he surrendered possession a few times, which was highlighted.
Under no pressure as well. It was really, really disappointing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure we're going to talk about Adam Idah a bit. So let's have a look at what he did in the game, where it started with this moment. On 20 minutes, Nygren corner to the near post. There wasn't much made of this, but this was very close to, I mean, the slightest of touches there, and that was in. So we talk, Stephen, about him always, at least he's getting into the positions, but it's not quite fallen for him. Was there more evidence of that in this game?
Yeah, he's made a great run there. He's made a great run across the defender to the front post, and I think he's just unlucky. He's just not got enough in the header. A wee bit more on it, and it's in the back of the net. But I know Idah, you know, reading social media after Celtic games these days is a little bit tiresome, especially where Adam Idah is concerned, because so many people have just made their mind up. And just it's just confirmation bias week on week and week. No, I actually thought Idah wasn't bad. I know he didn't score, he didn't have many clear-cut chances, but I thought he led the line quite well. And we spoke about the physical battle. You know, he was in a physical battle as well with their two big centre halves, and I thought he came out of that quite well. He linked up the play, and I think you can see what Idah brought to the game when he went off, because I thought we missed that. We missed what he was doing when he went off and Shin came on. So I don't think he was that bad, but do you know what I mean? Other people have made their mind up already.
Yeah. I hear you though. I mean, I'm forever saying he was unlucky and he was inches away from, you know, this, that and the other. Here was another moment, 22 minutes. Idah takes down a Nygren cross and he spins and does everything right apart from the shot, which is another fucking common complaint we have, Lewis, about Idah. He did everything right apart from the last thing.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like it reminds me of when Kyogo got injured in the first Ange season and Giakoumakis came in, where it felt like Giakoumakis, like, just there was such a gap in terms of goals scored for such a long time, and it's like, is it going to be a case where he does come good eventually, or is it too far gone, right? I understand the frustrations of players, because I know that at the time Giakoumakis was getting slated just as Idah's getting slated now, and it's like, will it be a case where he does come good and does, progress on and get and put up better results, or is it a case where have we seen the best of him? Because he has been decent. Like I'm not sure if he's 9 million decent, but he's been decent. Is it one where he gets better, or is it one where we've seen the best of him? It's tough to say.
Yeah, it is. Jury out on Idah, but he doesn't get the service required from wide areas. Well, this next bit was a moment of magic. One of the 2 real moments of quality that shone through in the game, which ultimately separated us from them. Kieran Tierney does what Kieran Tierney does, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean that's what we want to see from Tierney, and that's why we're all so excited to be getting him back. That's what he can do. He's just got a burst of pace over 5 yards, and how many times have we seen him doing that? And then a pinpoint delivery into the box. A really good finish from Nygren. Takes it first time and gets it on target. Hit right straight through the ball and gave the keeper no chance. I think the keeper even got a touch on it, but it was too powerful for him to keep it out.
How good was it to see Nygren scoring, Lewis?
I think for any player's confidence, getting a goal, I mean, early on in their Celtic career, never mind their first game in, is massive. So the fact that he's able to mesh with the players so early, because usually, like, even if a player's really, really good, it sometimes kind of takes them a bit to get into like the rhythm of the team before they start really kind of putting in performances. But there was some sort of there was a lack of synergy with some of the players, like at certain stages of the game when it comes to like some of the tight passing. But to be able to be in the right position, sort of congruent with the team so early on is a good sign for me, I think.
He just seems like a guy who wants to be the man. He wants to influence games. He got a goal and an assist here, didn't he? And, was close to having more than that. But he just looks like he's up for it. He thinks he belongs, Isn't that right, Stephen? He's not coming in like a shrinking violet.
No, I mean, you'll let. But the thing about Kieran Tierney is he's got improvement in him as well. Because it wasn't a flawless performance from him. He was guilty a few times of giving the ball away, get caught in possession a couple of times. So I think he's still getting up to speed with playing full games.
Talking about Nygren, really. But, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Tierney there. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. Carry on.
Yeah, I think Nygren. This was the first time I really had a good look at him for a full 90 minutes, and I was very impressed. Very impressed with him in the sort of number 8 position, but also when he went out wide in the second half, I thought he was excellent out there as well. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about where Yang is in the pecking order. The fact that he didn't bring him on when he came to make that change in midfield. He brought Engels on and put Nygren out wide. So, good performance by him.
Did you hear that Tierney was puking his guts up in the changing room? Was it at half time? I think he's got a bug or something. But he still managed to put in that sort of performance. I don't think it wasn't a nerves thing. The way some sportsmen like puke. Do you ever have a good vomit before a fight, Lewis?
No, I can't say I have.
I've had plenty of vomits after fights. With the adrenaline,
just
punches to the
what I
gut.
was saying before about Tierney. I mean, he hasn't started. He hasn't played 90-minute games for months. He's been coming off the bench, playing 20 minutes here, 25 minutes there for Arsenal for the last 6 months. So it is going to take him a bit of time to get up to speed. So I'm not surprised. He's been subbed both the games he started, and I'm not surprised he was blown out his arse after about 60 minutes.
What do you think about this point here with the midfield guys? We're talking about Nygren coming in, taking his chances, not pissing around, not taking time to bed in, just immediately contributing for the team. Does that sort of cast a darker light on the other two? And we ask, why don't they do a bit more of that? Stephen?
Well, I don't really look at it that way. I think it's a squad game. And at the moment, Nygren's in the team and Engels and Bernardo aren't, though. But, there's a long season in front of us. And there'll be points in time where, as we've seen with Engels last year, and Nygren's quite a young player as well, he might have a drop in form in the middle of the season, and then you'll be looking for Engels to come back in, and then it'll be up to him to take his opportunity. I don't think Engels is a lost cause by any means. I think he'll come back in and have a big part to play this season. I'm not quite sure about Bernardo. He does seem to be quite far out the picture in terms of, he never gets on. And that's 2 games and he hasn't got off the bench. So he seems to be behind Engels and McCowan to come off the bench in a midfield role. So I'm not too sure what the future holds for him. But again, it's up to him to take his opportunity when he gets it, because he will get game time this year.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those ones where the opportunities will come, and it's like, will they take that opportunity the way they need to show that they're capable of stepping up, or will they, just be underwhelming compared to? And that's the thing, the competition is good. Having that depth of competition in the midfield where they're all vying for limited spots is a good thing, a good problem to have. So, yeah, I think it's actually a good thing for us, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's one of our established midfielders who had another decent game. In fact, ever since the middle of last season, whenever I said my patience had expired with Hatate, he's been absolutely excellent. He's been consistently good ever since then, really. And, he did a few things in this game. This was where he had a shot saved, came off the keeper, fell back to Nygren. We all thought this was going to go in, did we not, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm surprised he lost control of that shot completely. But a really good effort on goal from Hatate, a good save from the keeper. And surprising that Nygren didn't get over that. So, but it came at him quite quickly, so I suppose there is that.
Yeah,
I think I speak for everybody when I say thanks to Gav, because it's clearly Hatate was obviously watching the show and saw Gav slating him every week and was like, nah, enough of that. I can't do that anymore. So
absolutely,
that's
why
right. Well, when someone who clearly knows so much about football, criticizes you like that, you've got to take it to heart.
So yeah, I speak for the entire support. Thank you, Gav. It's all you.
You're welcome. What about this moment that, what's his name, the annoying commentator? Terry McCullough. He was doing his nut saying that's Graham Shinney handling the ball in the box. How come that wasn't a penalty? What do you think about that?
Well, I didn't watch on Celtic TV, so it wasn't mentioned in the commentary I was listening to. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it again. I must have missed that.
Yeah.
I think
did you say it?
Probably should have been. We didn't watch it. The pub didn't. The pub is the main, I think it's the Sky commentary, as opposed to the Celtic TV one, which is a blessing. But I think it probably should have been a penalty. It's one of those ones where it's like, it's frustrating when you don't get it, because if you need it and you don't get it, then it changes the game entirely. So it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's nothing we can really do about it at this point. There's no point harking on it in the commentary for an hour, I guess.
Scurrilous allegation from John Clements there, suggesting that I favour Irish players. Oh, I do kind of stand up for Idah and Scales. Not so much Kenny, I have to say. All right, what else happened then? Where were we? 30 minutes. This is all within the first half hour. This is the CCV where he blocks the ball with his foot, and then I've named this CCV blocks the ball with his aura. He just sort of lies there and says, nah, fuck it. You're not getting it.
It's true. Drew is amazing. He I'm just going to be a plank, and that plank's going to stop the ball, and this is exactly what happened. He just blocked it. It's like, cool. Just going to be here. Brilliant bit of play.
Now, when are we going to get to the stage when this kind of photograph makes us excited? And is it going to be, if Nygren can bring this to the table, that would be awesome. He didn't in this case. But he is a bit of a set piece taker. When was the last time we had one? When was the last time we had somebody who could do something from that position?
Oh, I remember Jota. Jota scored a decent one in the Bernabeu, so
I suppose he did.
I think he's capable of that. Outside of him, and David Turnbull could take a free kick. But apart from that, I couldn't really say. Matt O'Reilly, I think, did he take a couple? Maybe.
But not to great
But that
effect.
wasn't it. It was a pretty poor effort from Nygren, so I don't think he's going to be the next big thing on free kicks, but you never know.
We can't judge him on that alone, surely.
Yeah. Free kicks are hard to score as it is, so it's one of those ones where if you give him 5 and he scores 1, then you're like, okay, solid. But you've given him 1 and he didn't score it. I think it's too early to write him off.
I mean, these are all players who, could score the odd one, but really, this is the man. Not since him, Nakamura, have we had someone that you would have any confidence in.
Yeah. Nakamura was different though, because Nakamura is someone that it would be an active, like, there was times where strategically it would make sense to try and win a free kick because you knew Nakamura was taking it. Right? It's like, I don't think we've had a player that quality on a free kick, like, or will see that again. I just don't think it's possible. I think he's a freak.
But let's not forget Lee Griffiths. A couple of people are making the point.
Let's forget Lee Griffiths.
Let's forget him, man.
No way. He was the man. He was the man for a while. Anyway, AJ low cross after intricate build-up, but too many bodies in the box. That's on 39 minutes. Don't think we need to discuss that too much. Scales gets his head on a Nygren corner. Quite a few good, decent corners put in, and we got on the end of it. And again, Scales is quite a likely person to get on the end of it. That's another thing he does quite well as a defender. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I'd say he's our best attacking threat in the box from a set piece, definitely. Yeah. But that was he didn't get the direction on that one.
Now there was quite a lot of chat in the live chat here earlier, which we didn't touch on because it was a bit early. But Dyson Maida isn't exactly firing on all cylinders, and this is the kind of moment where, towards the end, or at any stage last season, he would have put this right on the button for Adam Idah to come in and score. But it's just not quite clicking for Maida, is it, at the moment? Either of you?
Well, I think Dyson Maida has just been Dyson Maida. He's right through. He had a really good season last year, but in general terms, he's very inconsistent. There's a couple of times yesterday where he really just lost his balance and tripped over the ball a couple of times. One when he was through in goal. But that's just what you get with Dyson Maida. But he's still probably the most concerning thing I seen yesterday was at one point he lost possession of the ball and didn't bother chasing back, and that was in the first half out on the far side, and that was very surprising because that's not like him at all. Normally he's motoring right back there to try and win back possession. So I don't know whether a lot of people seem to think he's maybe had his head turned by a potential transfer. But I think he's probably just been Dyson doing Dyson things.
Dear. Well, he had a chance here on 51 minutes after good work by James E. Forrest. This is a very blurry shot, but he hit it right at the keeper, if you recall this moment. But there was another chance, with quite a lot of chances in this game. And here's the second one that converted. This is Nygren, 65 minutes, plays it inside to Rio. And then Rio sticks it. This is another blurry shot, but you can see where the ball is. Look where the ball goes. Absolute peach.
Aye, it's like it's just you can't beat that because it's so unsavable. It's like it doesn't matter who you put in goals, that's a goal. Could be the best goalkeeper ever constructed. Like you could make the perfect goalkeeper and he's not saving that. It's just perfect.
You could have two goalkeepers in and they wouldn't have saved that. It was just if you'd placed it with your hands in the perfect position in the goals, then that's where you would have put it, right in the postage stamp. So absolutely brilliant goal. I'd be surprised if that wasn't off for goal of the season. Just the way he's got his body right across it and got the bend on the ball. He bent it round the
Defender in front of him,
just inside the post and the bar. So
gorgeous.
An absolute belter of a goal. Typical Rio Hatate, who I didn't think had that good a game, to be honest with you. I thought he gave the ball away quite a lot. But again, it was just Rio doing Rio things. He does that. And then he just steps up with something like that to just seal the game, really. So absolutely first-class strike.
There you go. Maida being Maida and Rio doing Rio things. That's what people tune in for, Stephen. Cutting edge.
The old cliches.
For me, I don't think Rio had a particularly bad game in any way. I think it's just, I don't know, there's a certain sort of like, I feel like some players, I don't know if it's a Brendan Rodgers thing, but it's like the default safe pass is the only pass. Whereas I felt like maybe under Ange, you'd maybe be willing to maybe try and beat his man. It's like, nah, as soon as Hatate was getting the ball, he's passing it. Like, what's the simple, easy pass? Get it first pass, move the ball, move the ball, move the ball. So he never really has the touch. Like, he never really has the ball, really. It's like, he just passes it away. It's like, whether it's first touch, whether it's, he just takes it, moves it backwards even. It's like, he just doesn't really do anything with it. So, the goal, obviously, brilliant goal, but I feel like his performance is like, he's not doing anything wrong, but he's not doing anything like exciting. So I feel like that's kind of why he feels not as interesting this season compared to previous seasons. Just pretty boring, like just standard passing football.
Yeah. You want to rebut that at all, Stephen?
No, I think that's fair enough. I think it's just Rio Hatate has always had difficulty fitting into what Brendan Rodgers wants to do. And you're right. Sometimes I think Rodgers would prefer him to make the safe pass more often than not, but he just won't do that. It's not the type of player he is. And I think that's probably how he fell out of favour with Rodgers right when Rodgers first arrived. But I think Rodgers quickly realised that his good moments were so good and that you can't leave him out of the team. So at the moment, he's probably our most creative influence, and this guy we look to create things. And you saw in the cup final what happens when he's not there, and we just have no creativity at all. So he's become a very important player in the team, which is a bit of a concern in itself, because you would like some sort of alternative if Rio's having an off day, which he does from time to time, and that sort of thing. When it doesn't come off for him, and when the passes don't come off, and then he does lose possession a lot. And I think he could be better in games, especially against Rangers. We're still waiting on having one of these breakout performances against them. So probably the best game he played against them was his first one, when we beat them 3-0 in a midweek evening game. But we're still sort of waiting on him getting a real hold on one of these. He seems to get physically intimidated out of these games. So I'd like to see him really dominating a game against them, and that'll be another string to his bow.
That first game was magic, though. It's like I think it's a really high bar to set for anybody to be like, I just come in and score two absolute banging goals, like outside the box, like right. 6 guys in front of him, doesn't matter, just score. It's like, nah, it's like I don't think we're gonna see that, but I do agree. It's like it would be nice to see him show what he is capable of, because we know he is capable of putting on a performance like that. Whether it's to that level doesn't matter. It could be half as good as that, and it's still a goal in the net. So, no, I agree with you there.
Well, there's one thing he has changed, Stephen, which I'm surprised you haven't mentioned yet, but I'm sure it's to your delight.
Gum shield.
Rid of the blue gum shield. Finally, he's listened to me. He's read my letter.
And now he's like mirroring his manager with his turkey teeth look-alike thing. At least it's white. So, I mean, gum shields have got to be white or green or something, for a laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, blue or Kyogo's yellow. It was grim, wasn't it?
That was horrible. Yeah, that was pretty grim.
Have a yellow gum shield. That's all wrong. This is the moment of 67 minutes. If we could go back to play, You remember the old TV show, A Question of Sport? What happened next? Stephen, you mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, that's the one where he
This
just fell. The sniper got him. I don't know what happened. He just seemed to fall over the ball. Got his feet all tangled up. I mean, it was very disappointing because he was through the keeper. So yeah, that's just things you see Dyson doing.
Aye, disappointing.
Yeah, really frustrating.
So there wasn't that much else going on from that point of the game. We sort of wrote it out, you know. Watch the clock tick, keep things control. That was a word that was mentioned a lot, control and possession and what have you. Shin Yamada came on. Lewis, were you expecting great things from him?
With such a short time on the clock, I wasn't expecting anything, and he somehow still disappointed. I feel like he just wasn't even there. It was really bizarre. I feel like he just disappeared. I was expecting him to at least, I don't know, touch the ball a couple of times in a positive fashion, but I don't even remember him doing anything. I remember getting to the game, it's like, did he even just didn't really add anything.
Got into this position and then hit a really tame shot to the near post. Keeper scooped it up with ease.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't see that much of him. Oh no, there was another moment he had actually, which was a header. He was offside. This was from a free kick, if you remember.
Yeah,
sort of head come shoulder. That's what it was described.
I mean, you don't want to go in two-footed on him too early in his Celtic career, but I mean, he did look like a competition winner out there.
Oh come on, that's very harsh. That is two-footed. Studs up.
No, but I mean, there's mitigation there in that, you know, it's his first game, but he didn't even look as if he knew when to press or when not to press. And at least you expect for a guy like that when he comes on is to run about a bit. And he just didn't seem to even do that. As Lewis said, he didn't seem to make any contribution to the game at all. And that shot was abysmal. But yeah, you're right. The comments are correct. You can't rate him on that alone. But all I'm saying is that's what he looked like on the base of that performance. He looked pretty poor.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's writing him off based on one performance on one random afternoon. But it's like based on
just want you to know what you thought of his few minutes.
Yeah, of his few minutes it was quite underwhelming. To put it politely.
We don't use that word on this show.
Banned.
Dear, oh dear. Huh? Do I not have a thing to put up for underwhelming? No, I don't. Oh, it was a banner. It's too late now. Jeez, it takes me forever. Underwhelmed. It's not a real word, Lewis.
Okay, I was insufficiently whelmed. There you go.
We'll have to talk backstage about the word whelmed and all that, what it means. Yeah, obviously Yamada needs plenty of time. This is how much...
But is he going to get it, though? That's the thing. That's the problem with these sort of signings. Is he going to get it? When's he going to... I mean, Mahesh is saying he needs 900 minutes. When's he going... That's the equivalent of 10 games, 10 full games. I mean, when's he going to get it? But he'll be lucky to get that in a full season. Because you look at these guys have got to make an impact off the bench because we don't have any other place to play them. There isn't any reserve league. There isn't any other place for them to get games unless you send them out on loan. Which at his age, I don't think is likely. But I'm just not sure. And opportunities like he had yesterday, and again mitigation. It's his first competitive game for Celtic, but he needs to take those opportunities if he's going to dislodge Idah as the number one striker, and if he's going to play a big part this season, he is going to have to make an impact when he comes off the bench.
Yep, absolutely. He needs more game time. So I think that's all we had for the game itself. Let's look at some of the reactions here. This is a tweet by Willie Colo. Some nice pictures there of key moments. ball going into the back of the net, the captain congratulating Tierney, and then the 2 goal scorers. That all paints quite a pretty picture. Although nobody could argue we're, firing on all cylinders or anything. To mix my metaphors, it's fair to say we've hardly got out of first gear so far, but 6 points on the board. Who can complain? Start of the season. That's all you want to do for the first few games is get through them and don't lose any points, any stupid points. Right?
That's right. And Aberdeen away is always one of the most difficult games. So to get that, and it was a very comfortable win. We ended up seeing that game out with plenty to spare, and that sort of augurs well for the rest of the season. But I think there's tougher times ahead. But yeah, it's a great start. It's 6 points, and we're sitting back on top of the league again.
For me, the thing, it's obviously I think too early to say, but the thing that I always look at is, are we better this season than we were last? So it's always, I think, the way you kind of have to look at whether it's a disappointing season or whether it's a good, exciting season. And it's too early to say, but I think based on recent performances to Aberdeen, if we exclude the cup final, given special occasions, I feel like it was a bit underwhelming. Again, I'm using it on purpose. I think we should have done better, to be honest. I feel like it was our previous games against them have been a bit more dominant. While it is tough, always going to Aberdeen, they're usually a solid side. It's one where it's like, I think the commentary, the Sky commentary mentioned, it's like, I don't think we've lost to Aberdeen since, I think it was like 60 odd games or something, or 18 rather. Yeah, it's mental. How many years is that? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's years. Mental. So to say that it's tough going to Aberdeen, I think it's probably being generous. If we're being realistic, we should win those games. The stats say we should win those games, and if we're winning them less convincingly, even if the scores, obviously that massive, I think it was like 9-0 thrashing, just absolutely battered them last season. It's like, I don't expect that, but I expect it to feel calmer. And I feel like there was times during this game where we didn't feel in control. It was moments. It was like, for the majority of the game we're in control, but there was moments where we weren't. And the fact that we had those moments, whether it's down to referee decisions or whatever, regardless, it's like, that to me is, it's too early in the season to say, but it's slightly frustrating when comparing it to last season.
See this comment here, Nygren's false start playing to the crowd at the end was a laugh. I didn't see that. Did he make a mess of the...
Yeah, he made an after that, yeah. He didn't really know what he was doing. He had to have a bit... he didn't really know what he was doing. He kind of ran up with the crowd and they were waiting on him doing it and he didn't. And he had to... I think he received some instruction from Alistair Johnson, I think. He got it right second time. So.
They should totally tell them beforehand.
Should be. They should.
Was it O'Reilly went to do something to the Brighton fans and he gave them a and it wasn't that, it was something else?
No.
It was the like a way, and he was busy giving it all this and then he was like, oh fuck. Yeah, you got to be forewarned of these things. All right, so let's talk about this. A lot of talk of Brendan in the live chat. Brendan can't win, etc. Let's talk about these comments then. This one here, I think there's a number of people who really don't like me here at Celtic, but I'm really happy to see how the current players we have are. What's he say? Why is he saying that? Why is he saying that, Stephen?
How what they are?
Well, I think when if you want to analyse that answer, you need to look at what the question was, and it was in regards to criticism of their playing style, and it's not very nice to watch, and it's a bit boring, and the whole horseshoe of death sort of thing, and possession for possession's sake, and all that sort of stuff. And he was just making the point that no matter what he does, there are some people who will never take to Brendan Rodgers, and he's in that. He's absolutely correct. There are some people who just will never take to him. A lot of it's to do with how he left the first time. And a lot of it's just people buying into the whispers that have been fed out by the board about Rodgers, and I think that's all he was driving at. But if you take that quote and look at it in isolation, it does look a bit mad and a bit strange that he would say something like that. But I think he was referring to people who will just always criticise him.
Jezebel. Brendan feeling sorry for Brendan again. But, Rodgers has loads of people who appreciate him as a manager and, would love to see him stay, and that's all fair enough. He's very successful and he's decorated and all the rest. What was my point going to be there? No, I wasn't going to say that. Yes, the problem is, with all things, there's no room for nuance anymore. Yeah, there have to be, poor Brendan, the board need to back him. It's outrageous that they're not. He's an elite manager. Or you're anti-Brendan, get him out. And, you're not allowed to be anywhere in the middle ground. And I am in the middle ground, to be honest. I can see the pros and cons of having Brendan as our manager. And I know the board should be buying better players and getting these deals done and all the rest of it. Yeah. He's a bit annoying sometimes, though. Is he not?
Yeah, no, he's a weird guy. He's a weird guy. And the thing is like, I think when we spoke before, I mentioned it's like the thing that really determines whether we're progressing or whether we're regressing as a team is how we perform in Europe. Because winning in Scotland is something we've done pretty dominantly for the past forever, right? For being brutally honest with it. So how we perform in Europe, sort of like the litmus test of, are we getting better as a team or are we getting worse? And last season, I think Brendan did really well. There was some exciting, progressive performances there, and it's can he replicate that with the team that we've got this season? And you get to be seen, and that's, I think, the tough part. The way we're playing, it's the same. It's pretty boring. It's pretty tedious, but I think that can be exciting versus like a more aggressive team, because there is a lot of potential for counter-attacking with Brendan Rodgers' style of football. So against a team that's actually of a decent quality that will fight us and try and force us to play their game, maybe we have a stronger showing. But that's yet to be seen if we don't see the European games. And I think that's fundamentally the litmus test. Have we progressed or are we worse than we were last season?
So what you're saying is that the boring moments are as a result of the way other Scottish teams play against us, and it's hard. It's hard to play exciting football against these kind of teams.
Yeah,
Stephen, do you want to jump in and tell us what your view is on that?
Well, I don't know where this business about it being boring comes from. Brendan Rodgers is quite measurably the second best manager in our history, and he's delivered treble after treble after treble. And last year he delivered progress in Europe, which is what he said he was coming back to do. Now, the first year when he came in off the back of the Mark Lowell transfer window, I don't think we won that league under any other manager. I think that was one of Brendan Rodgers' finest titles, how he managed to get us to the league title there. And then last season, we make the progress in Europe. Now, this season, clearly, the squad's weaker. We've sold players and not replaced them. We've sold Kyogo, we've sold Kuhn, and we haven't replaced them. So the squad's weaker, and Rodgers is obviously going to suffer from that, because you can't expect to have a weaker squad and maintain the same standard. So as people are saying, we will never get a better manager than Brendan next year, when it looks as it seems certain that it leaves at the end of the season. The next manager will definitely be a downgrade, and people who are saying, "Oh, let him go," no manager's bigger than the club, and he's poor, his recruitment's garbage and all that. Be careful what you wish for, because what's coming down the pipe after Brendan, it's not going to make anybody happy, I'm pretty sure. So I think Rodgers is as good a manager as we can hope to have at the moment. He's not perfect. He can come across as a bit of a twat sometimes, but he's arrogant. He's confident in his own ability. as very, 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 very many successful sports people are. And you know that's it comes that comes with the territory. But what you can say about him is he just delivers trophies, and he's a winner. And if you give him the tools to succeed, then that will happen again this year. And for some reason, you know, I don't know why the club have decided that either they don't want him there or they don't want to spend any money. And that's that. See this rap business that needs to get in the bin. That stuff. Come on, get a grip. You know what I mean? If anybody
everyone's
can see
allowed
what's
their
happened,
opinions.
yeah, I'm allowed mine as well, and I think
Of
that's a load of
course.
garbage.
Okay.
If anybody who's watching what's playing out now at Celtic and doesn't understand why Brendan Rodgers left the first time, then what I don't know what it is you're looking at, because you know the same thing happened. And if Brendan Rodgers walked out next week, if we got to the end of the transfer window and we don't strengthen the team adequately, Brendan Rodgers would have every right to just say, nah, fuck it, I'm away. I'm not having this, because he's a professional and he wants to succeed. So, you know, let's get a grip here. We all know who the problem is at Celtic. The problem's in the boardroom. The problem's not the manager. And if you place Brendan Rodgers with another manager, all you're going to replace him with is a yes man, somebody who's just going to say yes, and he's going to let whoever it is play director of football and hand them cheap signings by the dozen, and ask him to make a successful team out of it. So the next manager is going to be a downgrade. Absolutely, 100%.
For me, I've got a lot of, I definitely sympathise with that position, because especially how he left the first time. The manner in which he left the first time, I know, leaves a sour taste in people's mouth, because he left middle of the season. If he'd left at the end of the season, I'd have absolutely zero quarrels with it. Zero quarrels, because I do understand it's like the board were effectively hanging him out to dry. And there's a lot of shades of that right now. So I've definitely got sympathy for that. But at the same time, I do also understand the criticism of Brendan Rodgers. I don't think it's just on the board exclusively when he's the manager of the team. If individual players aren't performing the way they should at the same time, I agree for the most part that as the board's responsibility, they are in charge of the finances of the club, and if they're not being spent, we can't replace players that we've lost. That is the case, but at the same time, it is a little bit frustrating seeing how, you know, some decisions managerially maybe I don't agree with as well. Just in terms of the style and the way that he's playing certain players, I don't 100% agree, but at the same time, no, I think you're right, and the board ultimately, it comes down to them.
We are friends, Paddy. We're just sharing views. That's all. That's okay.
We'll have this discussion again this time next year when Sean Maloney's the manager. We'll see how you like
you
that.
keep raising the Sean Maloney flag to put the shits up us. You know.
Well, I've told you it's going to be one of
one
3 people. We can come back and talk about this, but I'll nail my colours to the mast now. It'll be either 1 or 3 people. It'll be either Sean Maloney, Damien Duff, or Scott Brown. So it'll be one of those 3, 100%, because that's typical of the type of manager that Peter Law wants at the club. Somebody who'll be subservient and just take what he's given. That's the reason they don't want Rodgers there, because he demands things. He demands the club be ambitious, and he's telling the board, he's telling the media, he's telling the fans, I want to be ambitious. I want the club to grow. The board have got no vision for the club to grow. They've got no strategy, and they've got no ambition. So that's where the problem lies for me, anyway.
Okay. Well, we're ambitious and we want to grow, so it's very important that everyone heeds this message.
English prick here. Simply love a Celtic world though. All the best chaps have subscribed already. Have you?
Have you? Have you subscribed like that English prick? It's all
There's no English people in the comments.
It's just for a laugh. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, we're pushing very close to the very auspicious number of 1888 subscribers. We're on about 1882 or something like that. So if you haven't subscribed, you could be that very person, and we'll give you a shout out if you are. even though you can only see the people who have made their subscriptions public, you were saying, Lewis. So you might not get the exact right one. But anyway, for the sake of argument, let's get people subscribing and thinking they could be Mr. 1888 or Mrs. or Miss or Ms. or they 1888. Yeah. So so that'll be good if we get up to that number. That'll be a cause of tremendous celebration. What else have we got here? Well, we're still on Rodgers here. He's talking about the transfers. He wants Celtic to be in the best place. He can't magic them into the team. No tie, no problem. Thankfully, we didn't talk about that too much, because I see somebody saying that the no tie thing was something that other podcasts went on about for ages. So I'm glad we didn't do that. All right, but we're over the hour already, and it's been a good show. The comments have been going off. Especially this one. That's a brilliant one. Let's just leave that up for the rest of the show. No, perhaps not. The 1888. That'll be a new one that's brought up to annoy us. People saying, what are you saying that for? The 1888. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. So thanks for everyone in the comments. As always, it's a delight. You're part of the show, as much a part of the show as the handsome faces that you see before your eyes at the moment. Isn't that right, Lewis?
Definitely.
Isn't it? All right, well, we'll leave it there. So, Lewis, when did you say your fight is coming up in Mexico?
3rd of October. So.
Well, that's relatively soon.
Yeah, not too. It's camp. I'm in camp. It's the way to put it. So I'm off here and then straight to training. So pretty busy.
Okay. Well, if we don't see you before then, hopefully we'll have you back on the show. Are you likely to be back on the show before then, if asked?
You should be available.
Should be.
I'll let you know when I'm in Mexico as well, if there's what the times are there, and we can maybe figure something there as well, because should work.
It's going to be tough in Mexico, though, in terms of time zones.
Maybe, but we'll figure. We'll see the time it is. Even if I need to wake up at stupid o'clock, that's what it is.
All right. Well, thank you, Lewis, for joining us tonight, and hopefully we'll see more of you before the big fight, and we'll give you our best wishes when that's coming up. Stephen, congratulations on doing your Sydney race and getting soaked to the bone.
Yeah, thank you very much. My legs are suffering a bit today, but all for a good cause.
All right, and everyone in the chat, all the very best. Thanks as always. There's lots of good luck, Lewis, going on. Pete McGee says, where's Pete McGee's comment I just saw? Maybe we'll just leave that one on for the rest of the show. We'll laugh. Oh, it's the shit. Oh, I thought he said this pod is shit. It's the shit. That's a good thing.
Is that a good thing?
All right. It's a good thing. So we'll see you on Thursday, everyone. Until then, hail, hail, and cheery bye.
Hail, hail.